Listen, guys, we're excited to do this, but we know what you know. We read the comments, too. We're not going to save the show.
No,
show's absolutely
This is like when
done.
a marriage is failing, so you adopt 2 fun children.
Look
what
at
do
that.
We got?
Bert's got even just right here, I can tell he's got 6 months left. I can tell that his arteries and veins
He was looking good, too, and he's gotten redder and redder these last few months.
He just
he
keeps
should
going.
be dead.
No matter
He
what.
should be dead without question.
Distefano and Stavros Halkias have taken over 2 Bears 1 Cave for the summer, while Tom and Bert are running away from their wives, cosplaying as comedians turned Hollywood actors. Even though I knew this was coming, I still wasn't prepared for the culture shock I'd experienced from watching this episode. I've become so accustomed to Tom and Bert's train wreck of a podcast, with the non-stop showboating and toxic narcissism from Bert, while Tom sits there eyeing off his $250,000 watch, counting down the minutes until he gets to leave the building and hit the road in his 1 of 100 special douchebag edition Ferrari. I'd forgotten what it was like to watch a comedy podcast with actual comedians being funny and talking shit, and it looks like I wasn't the only one. First 2 Bears episode I've clicked on in years. The first 5 minutes has already surpassed the last 2 years of this show. Let's be honest, this is the duo that will save the show. Bert found a way to interrupt the episode even though he is officially not part of this episode. Amazing. Of course, Bert phoned it in and left Chrissy and Stavvy a message. Could you imagine his anxiety levels knowing that there would be a gathering of his friends where he wouldn't be the main topic of conversation? The best part is, almost every instance of Bert hanging out with comedians involves him paying them somehow. Whether it's on his tour bus, buying them all drinks after the show at some random bar, where he farms fan engagement, or on his own podcast where they're covering for him over the summer, while he desperately inserts himself into yet another project to maintain relevance, since, by his own admission, he's basically run out of stand-up material after his daughters moved away to college. We've been following the slow-motion downfall of Flagrant ever since Andrew Schultz convinced himself that he had more to offer than recycled dick jokes. We're still witnessing Brendan Schaub milking every single drop from his scorpion brain. Joe Rogan is off slipping and sliding his way through one of the biggest political scandals of the 21st century. And now, finally, we're witnessing the 3rd chapter of Tom Segura's memoir, How to Lose Friends and Use People. Getting Chrissy D and Stavros to replace them for 6 weeks over summer is the gift we needed and deserved.
I think we should first figure out who is Tom and who is Bert. I think because my addictions will ultimately kill me, I'm Bert. And because you're a closeted homosexual with disdain for the working class, you're Tom.
I'm Tom. I agree with those assessments. However, actually, if you looked at our numbers side by side, I have like 300 cholesterol, blood pressure through the roof.
Are you serious?
I have my liver, for some reason, even though I don't really drink, is just expanding at a rate that doctors can't figure out. So
you're the anti-Bert. You look healthy, but your body is in shambles.
Yes, I'm a reverse Bert. I think on the exterior, I'm Tom. Interior, I'm Bert. And on the exterior, you're a Bert, but the interior, you're a Tom. I think this is going to be fun. I think this is going to be good. And I think that at the end of the summer, what you'll see is eventually a post of Bert and Tom saying, we're stepping away from 2 Bears 1 Cave. And this didn't work with the guests either.
Because the advertisers have all left.
Yeah, they're like Stavvy and Distefano. What the hell?
That description of Tom Segura as a closeted homosexual with a disdain for the working class should be the tagline for his memoir. That's some crazy work right there from Stavvy. I love how all of Tom and Bert's buddies know why everybody hates them, and the best part is they don't even try and hide it. They know there's a currency in shitting on them, like we saw in the intro where Chrissy said they've read all the comments and know that there's no saving 2 Bears 1 Cave. It's basically become an open secret now that Tom and Bert's audience is made up mostly of hate watchers, with a few actual fans sprinkled in that still think Tom's joking when he shits on poor people and has a full-on public meltdown at the slightest inconvenience. Witnessing their downfall has become a global sport. By the end of this decade, these guys will all be recurring characters in the Austin Hunger Games, with Shane Gillis as the host. By the way, speaking of the big man, if you want to see my breakdown and commentary of Shane Gillis hosting the ESPYs, check out the link in the description to my Patreon. Shout out to all of you who already support me over there. But that's a show that would make some serious numbers. Imagine Tom, Bert, Schultz, Ari, Rogan, and Tony Tony Hinchcliffe competing for their own survival against each other. Tom would sacrifice Bert to save himself, Rogan would jump on Ari's shoulders for better visibility, and Tony Hinchcliffe would offer his ass up to the winner. Honestly, Red Band, if you're watching, you should totally team up with Shane to produce the third biggest show in history. Anyway, what the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah, so like I said earlier, there was no way Bert was going to pass up on an opportunity to insert himself into a conversation that nobody invited him to. Not only has he mastered the art of not being able to read a room, but he's just taken it to a whole new level by not being able to read a room in a different state. That should seriously be a crime. Crossing state lines to commit cringe.
Supposedly, Benson Spoon said that Bert had a video for us.
Oh,
look
what
at that.
we got?
Bert's got even just right here, I can tell he's got 6 months left. I can tell that his arteries and veins
He was looking good, too, and he's gotten redder and redder these last few months. It's insane the adversity he puts his body through and how much it perseveres.
Yes.
He is a medical marvel for real.
He just keeps
should
going.
be dead.
No matter
he should
what.
be dead without question.
Yeah.
Way, and like, dude, I did Fully Loaded when it was like him taking it easy.
Right.
And 1.5 days of attempting to keep up with Bert, and I literally needed like a week and a half off. I did mushrooms and floated down a lazy river and then had to do a show in front of an arena.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the I was thinking. Just the snacks. It almost killed me. And by the way, I was getting up every night on my tour. And I was like, oh, I can hang, Fully Loaded. It's insane what he's capable of. But let's see.
He's got Neanderthal genes. All right, let's see.
So the first thing Stavvy says when he sees Bert's face on a screen is, Bert's got 6 months left, he should be dead. Yet somehow Bert's sitting back in his trailer, drinking straight from a bottle of Porosos after a hard day of shooting a scene that'll probably get dropped in the edit anyway, texting his podcast producer saying, "It's perfect, they love me." I mean, fuck. You know when Stavvy said he needed a week and a half to recover from being on the road with Bert, that you're dealing with some seriously life-threatening habits here. The best part is it's probably all tax deductible. That's right, we're all indirectly subsidizing Bert's premature death. If that's not the most perfect irony you've ever heard, I don't know what is. What could possibly be a better use of taxpayer money? And how did they not realize that giving guys like Chrissy and Stavvy a video demanding they cover certain topics would backfire? Did he really think they were just going to let it play and follow his directions? They literally spent several minutes roasting him before the producer even pressed play on the video. And then once it started, they barely got a few seconds in before Stavvy told them to pause it so he could roast Bert some more.
Hey guys, it's Bert. I would love for you guys to talk about Indian people today.
Okay.
I've run into a bunch of Indian people on my trip.
Pause this for a second. He's ironically outsourcing Indian racism to us. He's like, why don't you guys try and say something that'll get your careers ruined on our podcast?
When a guy like Bert says it, I don't know if he's talking about Native Americans or people from India.
All right, let's keep going.
Yeah.
By the way, not doing that. 100% not just giving my thoughts on a race, carte blanche. But anyway, let's keep moving. What else we got, Josh?
Well, Indian people always rock. Indian women are the hottest women in the world, in my opinion. Okay. Indian men are always helpful. I've never had a group of Indian kids pull a prank on me.
Pause this again. Now he's kind of reverse psychology trying to get us to be racist. You know what I mean?
Leanne is off camera, telling him what to say to back it up, back it in. I mean, look at this.
And when they see me, it's just smile. So any stories about Indian people or any stats about Indian people, any interesting knowledge about Indian people, then if you don't want to do that one, how about this? I would love for you guys to break down America's greatest holiday and then take it head to head with what you believe is the world's greatest holiday, whether it be Carnival in Brazil or the day they throw tomatoes or running of the bulls, all that shit. I hope you guys have... Oh, also, can you guys talk about Rolexes and luxury cars?
Yeah.
What luxury car you want to buy, what Rolex you want to buy, that's Tom's talking points. I hope you guys have a great episode. I love you guys to death. Thank you so much for doing this.
Look at that pause, by the way. Yeah. That's him realizing what a mistake he's made giving us this podcast. Vote Zoran.
That's why he was bringing up Indian people. He was like, I saw Stavros talking about some Indian guy. Maybe he likes Indian people.
By the way, what is this? That's not your body.
That is not me.
That's
No,
my
good.
actual body, which they had no problem using. And then they went to your search history.
Yeah, they
found that.
Yeah, they literally, that's Stavvy's actually bought it. And then they picked some rip guy and they just gave me a bear head and a yarmulke. That's it.
Finally, someone called out Bert's obsession with race. He's that guy who will stop and chat to some random ethnic-looking person at the supermarket just to ask them where they're from and then proceed to tell them all about a trip he went on to that country and how amazing the food was. Don't forget, this is the guy who has openly admitted that his fantasy is to get railed by a bunch of black dudes. This man has a wife and adult daughters, for fuck's sake. But could you imagine how much harder Chrissy and Stavvy would have gone on Bert if he wasn't paying them? I love how they completely ignored Bert's attempt at throwing Tom under the bus by bringing up his infamous watch and supercar collection and decided to just shit on Bert instead. And here's something you've probably never heard me say before. As the podcast went on, things only got better. They would have recorded this 2 or 3 weeks ago when the whole Epstein Files saga was at its peak. You know, when DJT told everyone to shut the fuck up and enjoy the fireworks, and so when it came up, they straight away turned it on Tom and Bert, speculating how they would feel about the Epstein list controversy. And once again, they nailed it.
Dude, the guy Dan Bongino from the
the
head of the deputy director of the FBI, he's another Ridgewood, Queens guy. We went to the same high school.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Those guys got so cucked. Now they have to pretend the Epstein list didn't happen.
I know, I saw that today.
Who do you think is more relieved, Bert or Tom, that the Epstein list is gone? I think Tom would do it to get into the Illuminati.
Yes.
And I think Bert could be peer pressured into it. Like, I don't think Bert would want to be a they're like, oh, we thought you were cool, man. He'd be like, I'm cool. You know what I mean? Like, I think Tom would just be soberly having and being like, this will get me a 10-year deal at Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Like,
If I was like, hey, Bert, like, you know, if you just have some kid, it'll be a really good tour promo for Red Rocks. He'd do it. Yeah, because I think the mindset of those two guys are like Tom always believed this was going to be his life. He was always going to be famous. He was always going to be a multimillionaire.
I respect that.
Where Bert cannot believe this happened to him.
Yeah,
he can't believe he made it out of Tallahassee.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Who are we kidding here? We all know that every single one of these guys would be at the front of the line ready to go if they were ever invited. I mean, fuck. Bobby Lee kept telling the Tijuana story to anyone who would listen for years until people finally started asking questions, so he had to make that cringe-ass public apology and convince everyone it was all made up. Tim Dillon has basically admitted that he'd be down for some Epstein action, and Joe Rogan recently said on his own podcast that it's a genius way to blackmail people. It reminds me of that old Norm Macdonald, Bill Cosby joke. Let's just say, the worst part isn't the hypocrisy. I've said this before, I think it's only a matter of time before allegations start coming out of the Austin comedy scene. I don't know who exactly or what the allegations will be, but there is no way that all those big ego comedy assassins are keeping it professional around all those vulnerable open micers. And don't think for a second we've forgotten about this, Joe.
She's lucky she paid $100. I had girls sucking my dick and giving me coke from Chewy. You think I'm fucking kidding you? Fuck yeah, you gotta suck my dick to get up in the belly room. I'll make a call for you. That's the fucking gateway into coming to Hollywood. Everybody knows that.
How many girls did you have do that?
Oh, 20 of them. I had this little blonde open mic chick dog that used to come up to the Comedy Store with a 20 and just take me up to the belly room and suck my dick and go do her set. She was tremendous.
Wow.
She finally freaked out. When she got to Hollywood, bro, she was beautiful. And when she left, she had dirty fucking, her nails were dirty. And then a year later, she wrote me a letter to the Comedy Store. You sucker, you broke me. I kept shooting sperm balls in her fucking ear bar. Every time she went down, vaya pa la pinga.
And now the guy laughing hysterically at Joey Diaz's Predator stories owns his very own comedy club. Why the fuck would we listen to a word these guys have to say about Jeffrey Epstein? It's like they've forgotten the internet exists. Rogan's been begging Joey to move to Austin for years. The whole thing is a disaster waiting to happen. But let's get back to the new look Two Bears One Cave because I've got a few suggestions of my own.
Honestly, if you have you want us to talk about, if you have topics you want to do, if you have is there stuff you want us to, should we look into, should we do a segment every episode where it's like, how would we improve Two Bears, One Cave? You know what I mean? Like, is there stuff you want us to do? Is there things that Bert and Tom have done that you want us to comment on? Do you hate this even more than the regular show? That's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay, this is already, Two Bears, One Cave views are always going down, and then you bring in Chris and Stavvy and they talk about berberine for an hour? Now I'm supposed to watch
berberine and Nazis?
Yeah, that's the show? What the hell?
All right. Soft pitch. Here's what you should do. You know how the YMH podcast is mostly just Tom and Christina reacting to videos of weirdos, right? Well, that's exactly what you should do on Two Bears, One Cave for the next 6 weeks, except there's only one condition. All the videos you react to have to be of Tom and Bert. It'll be like a 6-week-long roast of Tom and Bert, and every week you can go harder and harder. The goal is for Tom to cancel you before the end of the 6 weeks. It'll be like podcast cringe invading YMH Studios. Fuck, I'll send you the clips myself. Just say the word. And I'm not even joking a little bit. We can start with Bert saying he wants to hit his wife for not being hot enough for Instagram. Then we can move into reading some of Tom's rage tweets. And finally, we can get to Tom telling all his poor fans to stop whining about their rent and figure it the fuck out. Can you imagine how embarrassing that would be when all those episodes get more views than regular Two Bears episodes? Honestly, Tom would probably keep it going just for the ad revenue. I mean, he already owns half of these guys' podcasts anyway. Tom's the real business shark here, am I right? Anyway, don't forget to check out the link in the description to my Patreon so you can watch my breakdown of Shane Gillis at the ESPYs. Also, if you enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to this channel and my second one, Podcast Cringe Bites. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.
My uncle is maybe the fattest guy I've ever seen in my life. And fat in a way that his body composition makes Bert look like a twink.